aren't you going to say hello?
Hi, I'm Bart Mixon. I was the makeup effects designer and supervisor on the original Stephen King's It Miniseries from 1990. Responsible for Tim Curry's makeup as well as the other incarnations of it in that show.
Okay, so you're the original creator of so many people's nightmares. My friends are terrified of it.
Excellent.
Are you proud?
Tim Curry gets a little bit of credit for that, and Tommy Lee Wallace.
Yeah, but coming into this one, what were your expectations? Did you expect to see something more involved in it a little bit?
I was curious if they were going to recognize any of that or go off and do their own thing. I did like when the first images of it, were released. I was happy that it was like its own, unique. I guess by virtue of it being a clown, there's some things, the head shape and stuff like that. It might be a little similar, but but no, I thought they came up with a nice. Original take on the character, and I was happy in the movie where they had in the room with all the clown dolls where there is a little Tim Curry doll in there, so that was a nice, I appreciated that. That was a nice little nod to my guy. But no, I thought they did a really nice job. I did get to apply this makeup once for a virtual reality promotional thing that they had at Comic-Con. Chris Nelson and I applied it, and it was fun. It was kind of a little deja vu, but it was a cool makeup, so it certainly would have been a fun one to apply, on the show. So, but yeah, it was good.
This is such an interesting craft to get into. So, what made you want to go into this?
That is a good question. Just a monster movie fan from when I was a kid. I guess I wanted to be either a comic book artist or a stop motion animator or a makeup effects guy. The original, I saw the movie Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe in 1964. That's Tony Randall plays multiple characters. I think that was the first time I kind of made the connection that one actor with makeup could be a variety of characters. So that kind of lit the spark. Planet of the Apes certainly, fueled that interest. And then reading about Rick Baker in 1970, he's like 8 years older than me, so that I think that made it seem obtainable. That because he was a long-haired kid, doing as good or better work than the adults or the professionals. So I think that maybe made it seem a little more obtainable. Although I was in Texas, and so I was a long ways from the film industry, but I mainly just did it as a hobby, and then just eventually found a way to turn that into a living.
And then you mentioned a few of the scenes from the older movie, like the spiders, and then a few other things. If you were asked to be involved in the sequel of the second one, do you think you would do that?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Again, it was a very well-designed makeup. So, and again, the one day I did get to apply it, it was a joy. It was fun to apply. Bill was a nice guy. So yeah, I would certainly be happy to. All they got to do is ask.
And then, did you work on the movie Bright with them also?
Yes. Again, with Chris Nelson was the department head on set, and I helped him apply Joel Edgerton's makeup. And so that was a lot of fun. It was great to do a show in town. I thought the makeups, were really cool. It was just a fun job, and it looks like it's going to be a really, good movie. I hope it is. Looking forward to seeing that.
And then Halloween's coming up. It was Friday the 13th yesterday. And you just mentioned monster movies, so I have to know what's your favorite monster movie that you've ever worked on?
That I've worked on or not? I have not worked on. Well, for me, the greatest movie ever made was the original King Kong. So that's like my all-time favorite. And again, that's going back to more the stop motion thing. I certainly, the Bride of Frankenstein, I think is a really cool, just as a classic movie. I think newer stuff, the 1960s Haunting, I think is probably the scariest movie I can recall seeing. Carpenter's Halloween, certainly, his thing, although it's more science fiction-y. Stuff like that. I don't know if there's newer stuff. I would say the new It is about the best thing I've seen in a long time. So I thought that was a refreshing change.
Story and work.
Yeah.
People that you're interested in, not just
Yeah, well, and that might be because it's based on a book. So I mean, they had a solid foundation that they were we're building on. I'm looking forward to seeing, excuse me, what they do with part 2. I think I mentioned earlier, I'm a little envious that mine was basically a 3-hour movie that I worked on. By the time they do parts 1 and 2, they're going to have about a 4.5-hour movie. So they've got like an extra hour and a half to tell the story. And plus they aren't restricted by 1990 TV censorship in terms of the effects that they're doing. So they are able to do a lot more than I was allowed to do.
Well, don't say they just yet. Maybe you'll be
Well,
brought along.
I may be helping, so that would be great. It would be nice to bring it full circle. I almost, when the incarnation before this one, the one that Carrie, and I keep screwing up his last name, about 2 or 3 years ago they were going to do one, and I was on board to be doing set work on that. And then a week before I was going to go to location, they pulled the plug on that one. So I came close.
Well, I look forward to seeing your next work.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you.